Hello and welcome to Floristry Market. I'm Greg.
And I'm Emma.
Hello.
Hello, Greg. How are you?
I should have said hello, Emma. Hello, Emma. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
What have you been up to since we last met?
What have we been up to? Working. Weddings.
And you had lunch.
And I had lunch.
Giving the secret away, we're doing more than one show in a day. Oh, yeah. So you've been doing lots of weddings.
Lots
it is
of weddings.
August at the time of filming.
Yeah. So, yeah, it goes all the way through now. So it doesn't really stop now till November.
Really?
Yeah, and it's because people can get married on all different days of the week now. So years ago, it used to just be like Saturdays. Then it used to be Fridays and Saturdays. Now it's like...
Why is it any day of the week? Why have people changed that?
Because it's cheaper.
Okay, makes sense.
I think it's cheaper, and I think people have kind of come to that conclusion of like, if you want to be at my wedding, you'll take a day off work.
Yeah.
And it's loads cheaper. Some of the really exclusive venues, to get married on a Tuesday, to get married on a Saturday, it's like £5,000 difference.
Really?
So it makes a big difference.
Wow.
So yeah, but it's quite nice for me because it makes wedding season longer. So yeah.
What day did you get married on?
Friday. I couldn't think then. I was like, what day did I get married on?
I think I got married on a Saturday. I think it would have been a Saturday. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, Friday. I got married on a Friday.
Yeah, okay, cool. Anyway, you're going to teach me something,
Yes,
aren't you?
I'm going to teach you how
I
to
really
make...
enjoyed the last show, by the way.
You did very well.
I really, really enjoyed putting that thing together.
That's
It was
good.
great.
So I'm going to teach you a few little tips and tricks today.
Cool.
We are going to make a table arrangement, but we're going to make a table arrangement with the candles in there. So we're going to do these with faux flowers, but it would be the same thing. If you're doing it with fresh flowers, it would be the same principles.
Okay, all right.
So we've got one of the biodegradable trays, just because I quite like those, and why not? Half a block of dried oasis. So I don't know if you've actually seen this one before, but this has got it's much crumblier and denser.
Of course I've seen it before. We sell it.
Yeah, but I don't know if you've used it.
I've not.
No.
I've touched it.
No,
It feels very grainy.
Yeah, so you've got to be really careful with this one not to rub it in your eyes or anything like that. So we've got that oasis, and then we're going to just tape it in. So we're going to tape the sticky tape just under the lid.
Is that your tape of choice, that kind of tape?
Yeah, I like this. And I like the thicker one because it just, I don't know, keeps it in there better.
Okay.
So I've gone not through the centre, I've gone off to one side.
Okay, why is that?
But when I come back again this way, because in a minute we're going to put our candles in the centre, and if you put too much tape running right through the middle, it's hard to get your candles or your flowers in. So you always just do it slightly off centre.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got our tray. Then we're going to add our candles in. So these are your candles, they're really nice. Now, you can get candle cup holders.
Sorry, I'm just smiling because I didn't know we sold candles.
You do?
Not those ones.
So you can get a thing called a candle cup holder, which you just push into the oasis and you push the candles in, okay? But that's all right if they only really come in one size.
Okay.
So it's okay for this size candle, but it doesn't work for these. So I'm going to show you a little tip that doesn't matter then what size your candle is, you'll be able to do this trick.
Okay.
Okay, so you take your wires, your stub wires, and then the bigger the candle, the more wires you're going to need. But for a little one like this, you're just going to need 2.
Yeah.
Fold them in half.
I'm so intrigued as to what you're going to do.
I'm going to get used to it in a second.
Oh,
actually.
okay.
You know me. Right, fold them in half, and then you take a little bit of your tape.
I did that so well. Look how well I folded those. Almost exactly.
I knew you were going to say that.
Look, almost
they were even.
exact.
And then
Yours aren't.
about a thumb width down, you're going to just tape that on, and then the same on the other side. Now, if you had a bigger, chunkier candle, you'd probably do 4 of these. If you had one of the really great big ones, you'd maybe do about 8.
Okay.
All the way around. So you tape that on. Then you want them to be nice and even. You like that bit.
Yeah.
And then you hook them over at the ends. And the reason you do that is because when you push that into the oasis, because it's got a hook, it stops it from coming back out.
I like that technique.
So,
because I did that in the last show, didn't I? For the little, what you call it?
Yeah.
Gourd.
So you can see, if I had that right in the middle, it's harder to get it through. So you and then you push that down in, and then that's in there quite securely.
That's magic.
Do you want to do that one?
Okay, I'll give it a go. Give it a go.
And so, as I said, if you've got a candle like this one, you just put maybe 4 around and hook them in. I'll start you off.
So just put it round a couple of times.
Yeah,
and then
put
the other one
on the other side.
Don't think we're going to need to snip mine because they're so even.
You still need to bend them up.
Yeah, I'll bend them up, but look.
Will they be even?
Are they even or are they even? I hope you guys can get that. Look.
Very
oh,
even.
which camera? There we are. Look how even that is. I'll just do a little rotation. That is good, isn't it?
Let's have some nice even loops then.
Okay, pressure's on now, isn't it? Is that?
Yeah, that's
Is that all right?
Yeah, so you just want enough so it goes in and it anchors it.
Oh, it's more difficult doing it evenly. Oh, rubbish. Doesn't matter, does it?
No, it doesn't matter.
But you're going to give me a hard time, aren't you?
No.
Yeah.
Because I'll never have them.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
It's quite good, yeah.
Anyway.
Brilliant. Right, so then next to that one.
Just put it there? Does it matter? We're just showing this as an example. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted them at slightly different heights, at staggered heights, you'd just push it to there.
Okay. But I don't. I want it all the way.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Push them in. So that keeps them in there quite securely. And if I was taking them, if I was to go into an event and I had a bigger candle, I would just use one as a template. So I was making 10, I'd use one as a template to see how big I need the space around it. I'd wire them up. I'd put them in when I got there.
Okay.
So that they just don't move about as much.
Yeah, I guess the more it moves about,
the bigger it makes the oasis hole. Yeah. Right, so you've got those in and they're in there. Then we're going to make our shape. So we're going to make a bit of like an elongated shape.
Okay.
So we're going to do that with our foliage. So with fresh...
Oh, we're not using this one, are we?
No, I just wanted to show you that.
All right.
So just put that under there. If we were doing that with fresh foliage...
Oh yeah, I'll put it under there.
Foliage.
Good idea. Sorry.
Making me dizzy.
I'm new here.
Right. So this is what we call greening up. So it's making your outline shape with your foliage. So it's kind of like drawing the lines. If you were doing a picture, it would be like drawing the lines before you colour it in. So this is nice, this eucalyptus. It's really quite realistic. So we're going to make our length first. So we're going to do quite a long elongated shape, which would be perfect for like a dinner table, or you can put it on a mantelpiece or something like that. So we're going to go quite low to the bottom of the container because we don't want to see the container. And we're going to make our length. And they are even-ish.
Okay.
So it's quite symmetrical, so you'll like this. So that's my length.
Yeah.
And then for your width, you want it to be about half as wide as it is long. So for your measurements. So if I made that even that side, it would be like quite round. Yeah. So we want that nice elongated shape. So what I'm going to do with these, because I don't want to waste it, is I'm going to cut it into that next disc there. Yeah. So that I've got some stem. Oops. So now I've got two bits. So that's one of the little tips and tricks is like be mindful of how you cut things, then you don't have to like waste lots. So then you put things in at the angle you want them to be at. So I'm angling it down towards the table because I want it to sort of kiss the table. So that's the thing that you want to do. You just want to put it in at the angle you want it.
Kiss the table, I like that.
Kiss the table. So it's at the angle you want it to be at.
Okay, so we've drawn the lines.
Yeah, so you can keep turning. So now I want to come in between here and here, there, there and there.
Okay.
So I'm going to use some of my eucalyptus and we've got a little bit of poplars as well. So it's kind of like an oval eye shape. And then I always find to get a good design, if you go opposite, so if I put it in on this side, I'm going to put it on that side. If I put it here, then it helps to keep it symmetrical. Yeah, we've got plenty of that. Just making sure that you don't come out too long.
But you can trim these as long as you like.
Yeah, you can trim these. And then I'm pushing them in, a couple of centimetres so that they're in the oasis and they're not going to fall out. But you don't want too much stem in there because if you leave too much stem, what happens is it starts crisscrossing on the inside and then the oasis falls apart. Or the foam or whatever. So we've got a bit of poplars. So just now I want to fill in these gaps.
Do you want me to do anything?
You can chop that up if you want. Thank you. With your
I'm going to use my little
trimmers. So this is all at the lower level.
So what sort of length?
Yeah, that's perfect. Right? Thank you. So I've chosen the poplars and the eucalyptus because they're slightly different shapes, so it's giving texture, form, and interest.
Hold on. Is that too long?
No, that's perfect. And I could just have one more bit, please. Okay. Right. So we've got our base layer. So we've got a few gaps, but we're going to fill that in, so that's fine. And then I'm going to just do, actually, if I could have a little bit more populous, I'm going to do a little bit, the same sort of thing at the top. So if I could have that one there. Sorry, I feel really bossy.
You are.
So I've been told, apparently. Right, it's not the first time.
It's only you telling me that. Actually, no, it's not. It's experience. There you go.
Right, so now I'm doing the same thing at the top, but I'm angling them slightly different. So rather than angling them down, I'm angling them so they skim across the top of my foam.
Why are you doing that?
Because then I won't need as much foliage and it will cover up a bigger surface area.
So if you're using fresh flowers, I'm
lot.
guessing foliage is cheaper than the flowers.
No.
No, really?
No, because if you think about it, foliage is really quite expensive. It's okay if you can forage it, but if you think about it, fresh flowers you can plant and cut in a season. A tree or something like that takes a long time to grow, so it takes a lot longer. So foliage is a lot more expensive than people think, and you do have that problem because people kind of like tend to think it's free and you've just gone out and snipped it. And so so I'm just covering up that bit of oasis there. So now I'm going to add some flour.
So what's the foliage you use in your designs? Is it grown here in the UK?
There's some of it's grown in the UK. There's a really big wholesaler in Ireland, and they're called the Irish Green guys, I think. I have to double check that. And they grow loads. They grow like lots of eucalyptus, lots of spruce, and then a lot of it comes in from Holland and places like that. But you can get, like in the UK, if it's in season, you can get like pittosporum, eucalyptus, ivy, mint and stuff. Herbs are really nice. So I use a lot of herbs, so I use a lot of mint because you can grow that. Yeah, and mint's a really good one because it's cut and come again. So you cut it and then it just keeps on growing. So mint, marjoram.
I'd never thought of that in a floral design.
Yeah, and it gives it that scent.
Yeah.
And people love that because it's like one of your real senses, isn't it? It's scent. So rosemary, all of the herbs. All of the herbs are quite good, so you can grow those and they can cut and come again. So we've got our outline shape. Then we're going to put some flowers in. So we've got these lovely, lovely roses. So I'm going to make a little tripod around my candles. So I've got one. And how I worked out the height was I just worked out if I went from the centre of my candle to like the outside of my design and then allowed a bit for it to go into the oasis.
Okay.
So I'm making like an invisible triangle around the centre. If you didn't have candles, you'd put one flower in the middle, and that would be your focus, but this is my focus.
So these things you talk about, how you work that out and you've got the length there and add a little bit. Is that a specific methodology that you use in design?
Everything should be like in proportion. So it's kind of like how I've worked out over the years of teaching to explain it to people. Some of it's relative with eye, but it's a good rule of thumb. It's kind of like generally if you go from the centre out, that's your width, and that would be your most highest one. Yeah. Right, so we've got those. Now we want to make a little bit of length. So I think we'll use some of these.
Well, these are dried.
Yeah, they're kind of like, they're dried and these are faux. They're just nice, aren't they?
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to use them out nearer to the edge because they're quite pointy. They're faux.
They're not.
They are.
They're not.
They are, Greg. They're faux. These are... I'll see if we had any real ones.
It's crumbled. Look.
It is faux. I promise. Get Jenny on the phone. Jenny!
Is it faux?
They are.
Okay.
Right.
I'm intrigued now.
Go.
If it's not, right, on the screen, we're going to have a big Emma got it wrong.
They are faux. They're faux dried.
Okay.
That is what they are.
Oh, what do you mean
They're
faux?
faux flowers made to look like dried flowers.
Okay.
They are.
All right. Okay.
They are.
Oh,
They are.
We'll see.
Trust me.
We'll see.
I'm going to turn it round, but hopefully you can see that's kind of a line coming through.
Very nice.
From this side to that side. Then we want to come up. So we want to look as if we're bringing the flowers up through here, up through the black focal flowers, the candles, and then out the other side.
Okay.
So we're going to do that with some of these. Because you have your lighter flowers on the outside.
Are these artificial as well?
They are artificial also, yes.
Or faux, as you call them. What do most people call them in the floristry industry?
Oh, it just depends. Well, we used to always say artificial, and then faux kind of came a bit more, just what everybody was saying. So I kind of flip back and forth.
Okay.
Right. So I've got my length. I'm using my foliage as my guideline, and I'm angling them down towards the table again. And I'm going to do the same on the opposite side because I want it to look even-ish. Okay, and then I'm going to bring that line, I'm going to zigzag those up, through, and out the other side.
Okay.
So again, I'm chopping into that there to make it go further.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm angling that down.
You're basically halving your costs every time you do that.
Yeah.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, you are. And you can always use all the little bits and pieces. So it's just knowing where to cut. So it's a bit like if you were gardening and you were pruning, you'd take it to the next, like, branch.
So when you're doing this, if you've done this a number of times,
Yeah.
do you know exactly how much of everything you're going to use?
Roughly.
So how do you allow for that when you're pricing and stuff?
Well, there's no denying it. People that, if you have flowers in the summer, you have more in there because just the stems are fuller.
Yeah.
With artificial, it's easy because you can just think, well, okay, I need this amount of stems and that amount of stems, and you know there's going to be exactly that amount. So I know if I order those, there's going to be 4 heads on every one.
Yeah.
Whereas if you order fresh flowers, you might only get 3 heads on 2, and
Okay.
5 heads on another, or 1 head on something
I see,
else.
okay.
So it's much harder with fresh, which I think a lot of people like to use faux because they know where they're at, what they've got, and how they cost it. And the reality with fresh flowers is when things, in the summer, when there's more abundance of flowers, bouquets you can spend the same amount of money and they'll look bigger. In the winter, you have to spend more money because things just are a bit more spindly because they haven't had the natural light and they haven't got as many flower heads on them.
Okay.
Okay. So now we've done the line, so we've come from that side to that side. Does that make sense?
It does.
Bit of a crisscross, a bit of a flag, really. And now we're going to come across that way and across that way. So we've done a plus sign and now we're going to do a times sign. So we are going to use...
So is this a technique that everybody learns, or is this just something you've come up with?
No, this is like a technique. So doing lines. Line is one of the principles and elements of design. So line helps you follow your eye through. So no. Okay. So I'm going to use these Chinese lanterns and I'm going to bring them up through here.
These are so cute.
These are lovely, aren't they? And then I'm going to use the lighter ones on the outside, and I'm going to take some of that foliage off. It's nice, but I just don't want all of that foliage, so I'll use that as a filler. Take it off. And I'm going to use the lighter ones on the outside, because I think we've talked about it before, that word transition. Mm-hmm. So in floristry, it means smaller to darker, bigger, lighter to small, lighter to darker, bigger to smaller.
Yeah.
So the lighter ones on the outside, and then again, I'm going to just chop into those and bring the darker orange ones nearer to the centre. And again, I'm angling them at the angle I want them to be at.
So I've got a question for you that you may or may not be able to answer. How many species of flower are there altogether?
I can't answer. I don't know.
In the world? How many do you think?
Oh, God, I don't know.
It's got to be thousands, hasn't it?
I'd say it's millions.
Millions, really?
Well, yeah, and I think there's new varieties all the time, so where people are cross-pollinating, growing new things.
If anybody knows, leave the comments down below on Facebook and YouTube. I'd really like to know.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't even really like to hazard a guess. So I've come across that way. So now I'm going to come across this way, and that helps to give you your shape. So I'm going to do that with these nice peachy ones.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to trim anything?
You can do, yes, please.
I mean, I don't have to if you don't want me to. I'm just trying to make myself useful. There you go. Oh. These work so well.
They're so good, aren't they? So I'm just bringing that line, but I think the thing is, I think a lot of people when they're starting out on their floristry journey,
I just trimmed that one, and it's obviously not good enough, is it?
No, it's just...
You do it. You do
I'll
whatever
use it
you're going
over
to
here.
do. That's fine. I thought I was helping.
I'm not coming back.
Sorry,
am
you
I?
were saying a lot of people. Please come back.
A lot of people get confused with line because they think it's like a dead straight. We say line as florists all the time. Oh, where's the line? Where's the line? But we mean like a windy path, really.
Yeah.
And I think when people are just starting out, they take it very literally, do a straight line, and they get very confused.
I really enjoyed the last show where I was actually doing it alongside with you, because even during that short half hour or whatever it was, I started taking what you were saying and then applying my own thing to it. So
I think it's like with any practical subject, there is no better way than to actually physically
have a play, yeah.
Yeah, and even when I teach on the online lessons, I always encourage the students to have them there, like in front, so that you're doing it together. And I think there's nothing replaces that actually physically doing something, does it? Right, so now I'm going to just start
really
to
nice.
fill in some of the gaps, really. So we've got our outline shape. So then I'm just going to push some of these in to fill in the gaps. And a key thing to remember is to just make sure that you can see each individual flower so that you've got space. So you don't want to like cram it full with flower. There's a fine line between having it nice and full and then just having it round with everything and then you can't see your individual flowers.
So is that different for like wedding bouquets? Because you see wedding bouquets, they're really tight, aren't they? And you've got a lot of flower. Although they're all the same flower.
Yeah, it very much depends on, so if you've got somebody and they're having, so that's called a mass. So in European design, lots of flower or lots of all one flower is like a mass. So that's like a massed design when they have like all the roses together or something like that. I did one the other week actually, and she just had all white roses with no foliage, no filler or anything, no other flower, and it looked really lovely. So now I'm just going to fill in the gaps, but what I think I might do is put in a little bit.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, a little bit of the bleached ruscus, just because it's going to add. Actually, what do you think it might add, Greg?
That's going to add white.
So yeah.
Colour.
Colour and something else. It's
the negative space. No.
Texture.
Texture. That's what I was going to say.
You were getting to that.
I was, yeah.
So.
Because it can't be negative space because you're putting something in it. So.
That's it. You got it.
I know.
So yeah, I'm just adding that in for a little bit of texture. And the thing with this is, like, quite a lot of customers will have maybe 4 designs that they swap out over the year. So like, I've got a friend who she changes her cushions every season. So she's got like.
Oh wow.
I know. She's got like autumn cushions. So she'd have like her autumn cushions would come out and then her autumn florals would come out. And
wow, that's impressive.
You know, and then they move on to the spring. I'm going to add in some of these little gourds and I'm going to push those just down into the centre to add interest, to make it really, really autumnal.
So this is just an autumn kind of thing, not necessarily a Halloween thing. What do florists do at Halloween? Do you get a lot of work?
Pumpkins, so we do a lot of arrangements in pumpkins, and I do like pumpkin workshops, and we send out a lot where you're using the actual carve out the pumpkin and use that as your vessel.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Maybe bouquets if people are going for dinner, but I think as florists, autumn's quite a busy season for like autumnal door wreaths, flowers inside. I think people have become really big on that, haven't they?
Yeah.
I think we've definitely got a lot more autumnal rather than Halloween-y, I would say.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then, so I'm just filling that in now, but pretty much.
I've got an autumnal wreath up on my front door every year.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah, it's nice.
You're going to have autumn cushions now.
I'm not going to have autumn cushions.
But no, I think
that's a female touch. That's definitely a female touch.
Yeah, and I think it's nice. I think people don't just want door wreaths for Christmas now, you know, they want them for all year round. And
put them all over there.
all over there, yeah. So, you know, you've got
That is lovely.
quite a nice little arrangement. I mean, if you didn't want it to go too autumnal, and then if you wanted to, like for Christmas, because we've gone with the burgundies, you could probably keep the burgundies, the creams and the greens in. And because it's artificial, you could take out your Chinese lanterns and your pumpkins, put in some fir cones and a little bit of red.
Yeah.
Because the burgundy is quite a Christmassy colour, maybe add a touch of gold or something like that. And then you can uplift it so you don't have to redo the whole entire thing.
That's really good. So I've got a question for you. When the candles burn down, is the Oasis okay with the wax touching it?
It is one of those ones where you do have to be careful, so you have to watch them burn. A lot of people,
because you wouldn't want them to go down here and then they'd catch fire.
No, a lot of people will just use it for decoration. If you are going to light it, then you obviously need to.
But the wax touching the Oasis is fine.
The wax is okay. It's obviously like the naked flame.
Yeah, the flame.
We don't want that.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
Emma, that is absolutely lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody, for watching and subscribing. If you haven't, please do hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon, and you'll be notified every time we upload a new show. Check us out on Instagram as well, and TikTok, where the fun stuff happens. And I want to check you out on Instagram as well. Do you know what that is?
LilyB822.
There you go. All right. Stay happy, everybody. Stay positive. See you next week. Bye.